All right, we're live.
Awesome. Manny, are you standing today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you always stand, or just a new
I mix
development?
it up. So
Okay, great.
sit and stand. You always stand?
Yeah, I've actually I've actually been thinking of sitting recently, because I seem to have some, I have runner's knee, which is very odd because I don't run. So
Maybe
the
you
only
start
thing
running.
And you need to run.
yeah, there we go. That'll fix it. Yeah, the only thing I can think of that could be a factor would be the standing all day. So I might try a month of sitting and see if that helps it. It's just basically tendonitis behind my kneecap.
I try not to stand all day because sometimes I find it's hard to focus when I'm standing.
Yeah.
Like there are times when I actually need to sit down to focus.
Mhm.
It's good at times to stand and like have that energy and like be moving. But there are
Right.
times when I really need to sit. Otherwise, it's just too much of a. Yeah, I don't know how. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
I used to find that with my my treadmill desk. I had a treadmill desk for quite a while,
Yeah.
and I'd get on a problem, like a programming problem or something, and I'd be like, okay, stopping the treadmill, getting off,
Yeah.
because it was just too much.
There's
Even
something
that
very
little.
interesting. There are times when it helps to be walking, like
Mhm.
when you're really thinking like meta,
Yeah.
when you're thinking
Right.
bigger picture. But when you're trying to be like really sharp and focused, then it doesn't help. Then it kind of
Yeah.
distracts you. So
Yeah, it's like there's like it's like a tiny bit of focus that's bleeding off.
yeah.
Do that task, but
So I mix it up depending on the task.
Yeah, I found it depends on the intensity and the task, like a combination thing. Because when
Mhm.
I had my treadmill, and when I was using that, like I would, if I'm on a call, like a conference call, I could jack that thing up to like 2.5 miles an hour and like a steep incline.
Yeah, it's totally
But
fine.
if I was typing an email, and even typing emails, like I could go at like, but if I was trying to code, I had to slow the thing down to like 1 mile per hour, 1.5 miles per hour,
Mhm.
because that So, and even the same thing, even like listening to an audiobook, it you can even hit that point, right? So like if I'm listening to audiobook when I'm running, if I'm running at like just a kind of a moderate pace, I can listen at 3x speed and I'm fine. But if I start running fast, like sprints, I can't even hear the audiobook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because your body goes into survival mode and your
Yeah.
cognitive resources are being used for that rather than just to listen to the book. Actually, one of the rules I've made for myself is not to sit around to read any books. So anytime I have to read or listen to books, I'm either outside or I'm on the treadmill or something along those lines, or sitting on a stationary bike or something. That way I'm never just chilling out and reading books. Um, yeah, that works. Even with physical books, I can get away with it. Especially on a stationary bike, it's really easy. You just sit and read a book. I'm doing some marketing automations this time around, this week around, and I was initially using my ConvertKit interface to do it, but I figured that there's so many things that I can't do with the interface without having all of those pieces in place.
Yeah.
Right? So you need that email sequence in place to actually think about, okay, well, that's what I'm going to have there. Otherwise, it gets like the product is not going to pick up anything. So I started using this tool called draw.io. Have you guys used it?
No.
Draw.io?
Like a
It's
whiteboarding app?
It's a flowchart app. It's
Mm.
free, and it
Oh,
saves
okay.
everything in your Google Drive. So I've just been mapping out all of my automation on that, kind of trying to improve some of these automations. I've been trying to figure out, like, okay, should I, when I'm doing my automation, so would I rather offer a bump and an upsell after they buy the first product, or because then you have to offer a discount, a steep discount on the bump and all that stuff? Or would I rather let them go to the next step in the funnel and make a sale for that product all over again, and then again the next step and make a sale for that product all over again, rather than like, because the problem with like having the funnel first time up is that now you have this opportunity to make the sale, but if you don't, then you're reducing the price dramatically, and then it's harder for them to conceptualize buying that product at a higher price at a later point, because you're not going to offer the same discount as what you would have in the funnel.
Oh, when you do the bump.
Yeah, bump / upsell. All right.
Well, that's a good question. Yeah, that's actually pretty. I think honestly that upsells from a funnel should be like add-ons that you wouldn't sell normally, right? I think that's the most effective thing. Like, well, it hasn't worked lately, but with the blogging course, right? We had if you design the upsells, like you should design the upsells, right? So with the blogging course, for instance, we had the blogging workbook, and then we put together a quick video. I just did a quick course on 10 ways to make money from your blog. So, I mean, we're selling that separately, I guess, but it's not, I don't know. Anyway, like the idea was that was just created as specifically an upsell for the $5 blogging workbook. So you don't run into that problem, but and it's not offered at a really, I guess it's offered at somewhat of a discounted price.
Yeah, we have it listed at $99 on the site, but we offer it at $49.
Yeah, but here's the thing: like anytime you can get money from someone, take it.
That's the challenge with the when you have the opportunity and the upsell / what I'm trying to say is, once you have the person ready to buy, that's the best time to sell them more.
Exactly.
Rather than come back to try and sell them something else.
Right.
So in that situation, I realize what you're saying. Don't upsell anything that's not, you aren't going to sell. But I'm saying, why not? Because that's when they're most ready to buy. So if you're selling them blogging course, why wouldn't you upsell them on the market yourself as a software developer? Because that's part of
we did.
Okay.
It's fine. I mean, you can do that. I'm just saying, like, if you don't assume that they're going to come back and buy. Don't try and milk the transaction like a future transaction, right? It's like, I'm trying to think of a good analogy. I know there's one in there somewhere, but basically, like, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, right? So that's the whole thing is here. If someone's here and they're buying, go ahead and discount all your shit and upsell them and get their max cart value to be as high as possible, because don't optimize for the future and say, well, I want to sell them something later on, because it's less likely, right? I mean, if you think about it this way, like, I don't know what the percentage is, but let's say that you had the opportunity to upsell someone your product. We'll just make it simple. Like your $99 product for $49 after they've already bought one thing. Or the second option would be to not do the upsell, but to later pitch them the $99 product full price. Okay, so if you look at the uptake on the upsell itself, maybe you get a 25% conversion on that, right? So you're making
25 is optimistic, but
but let's say, I mean,
5 to 10 probably.
10%.
Okay, let's do 10%. I'll make it a nice even number. So a 10% conversion on that. So the actual earnings for having that upsell, if you've made your $99, your $100 product $50, is $5. It's worth $5 to do that, right? It adds $5 more to your value. If instead you decide that you're going to not pitch them the upsell, but you're going to wait a week and then you're going to try and sell them the $100 product. Okay, in order to get that $5 back, you have to be able to 5% of the time convert them, right? And so I think you're much more likely to 10% of the time convert them on the upsell immediately, then then 5% later on. And that's where the value is, depending on how well your upsell converts. And if your upsell converts better, if it's more like 20%, then then you need 10%
bumps. Bumps can convert up to 25%, 30%. Upsells usually, I don't know.
A bump is you want fries with that. It's a lower value.
What's been your experience with upsells? Like, what's your best percentage? Because I've seen 10%, maybe 15%. I haven't seen much better than that.
Yeah, I think our best upsell was 7% or 7.5% that I've seen. So, and that was blogging
workbook. The price point?
$5 to $49.
Ooh, that's a big jump as well.
So
that's a big jump.
That one, so that one worked, and then we got like another of those. I think it was 5 to 7%. We're actually buying the $2.99 or the $1.99. How to market yourself.
7% were buying. 7% of those who bought the first upsell were buying the second upsell.
Right. Yeah, which is only like a couple, maybe 1% or 2% of the overall buyers.
So if I'm thinking about it, for a $5 initial purchase, you go to $49, 7%, which is like maybe $3.50 uptake on the next one, and then 7% of the 7% by $200. So 7,
right,
14, 7. Or is it $1? $1 additional?
Yeah, something like that.
14 multiplied by 7. Yeah, $1 additional. So $4.5 additional. So the average cart value became, instead of $5, it became $9.5 or $10, let's say, as a result. Would you have been better off having just a bump, $10 bump, which would get you 25%? No. $20 bump that gets you 25%. Yeah, that might be equivalent to this transaction.
There's a third option too, right? Because there's 2 options or 3 options. One option is you sell your product. You've got an upsell. We were selling the upsell for half off. The option 2 is you sell your product. You don't do the upsell. You sell the upsell later, that same product for full price. Option 3, though, is you don't do the upsell. You sell the product later for a discounted price. Let's say the same price that you would have done the upsell for. So option 3 might actually be equivalent, or in some cases better than option 1, if you think about it mathematically, right? Because if you get a 10% uptake on option 1, what kind of uptake do you get for that customer base later on, pitching them again?
In that case, you would just go with option 1 plus option 3.
Huh?
Yeah.
If you're suggesting that, I would just go with option 1 plus option 3. I'd do both.
I mean,
that's so there you go. So you don't even have to run the math on that. That's obviously mathematically the best option, right? So you should do that.
I'm trying not to.
Yeah.
The only thing that hurts is that when you do the upsell, you cannot say, I'm only offering you this one time. There is some,
or you could offer it at a slightly lower price than you
could offer it for $5 lower than what you would.
Yeah, like make it an even better deal than you normally offer.
You still have a little bit of the issue of the price resistance. Well, I mean, you have to make it such a small amount that no one cares, right? Because you would still have that same issue that Manny initially talked about, which is that they're more reluctant to buy something at a higher price later because they've already been offered a lower price. But if we take the $100 product, for example, and you did the upsell and you offered it for $45, and then later on you offered it for $50, still 50% off, I could see that someone wouldn't even blink about that. And you can still make the claim to say, this is the lowest you'll ever see this. I'm only going to make this offer to you once. You can only get it for $45 right now. The normal price is $99. And then later on, you could say, hey, I'm having a sale on this. It's $50. So
the other thing I'm considering, like completely along the same line of the funnel, is not at all offering any kind of discount whatsoever, but just sending emails with like, hey, this is the idea from this book, and talk about that. And if you want to learn more, check it out here. And like almost every email takes them to a lesson which they have to buy for in order to be able to purchase the product.
I really don't think that will work.
I mean, you keep sending them emails, you send them like 30 emails on the topic. At some point,
it would be worth trying. I think the only way to make a non-discount model work is to only have it be available at certain times.
Yeah.
Because the scarcity, like the discount matters less than the scarcity. The time limit is what makes the discount effective, not the discount.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, the discount helps a little bit, gives some extra incentive, but it's really the scarcity and the sense of loss that is what makes it work. And I've not had, like, we've done this with the Kindle book, where I've sent like probably at least a couple dozen emails talking about the Kindle book and saying, you know, John, like spelling, and these were sent as John, where I spelled out like, here's the scenario. If you want help with this, it's in this chapter of the book on page 31.
Right.
Like not even a blip, like not, you know, we go into Kindle, the email goes out to 70,000 people. We go into Kindle Unlimited and you can't even tell, like there's no additional sales that or maybe we got like 5 extra sales, but it's not like you think that, you know, 10 or 20 sales would potentially double the sales for the day and give it a nice bump. No, not at all.
No, you've got to have scarcity in some way, whether it be time or, you know, price or both. It's so crazy though. It is so weird that, like, I mean, just like saying, hey, here's this offer, it doesn't convert.
And the thing is, you can get clicks. I mean, this is what my experience has been. Like, I'll send an email, I'll pitch 10 steps, really good pitch for 10 steps. And we'll get, you know, 300 clicks and no sales. It at least with our audience anyway, that's what we're seeing. That's what I've seen consistently. So the other thing that would be interesting for you to look at would be try to figure out your customer value, like the average customer value at different points, like different cohorts. So like 1 to 30 days, 1 to 60 days, you know, the first 60 days, first 90 days. For most online businesses, the first 60 days is where, if they're going to become a customer, it's going to happen in that window. And then you do get like a long tail of people that will buy after that. Sometimes they'll have been on your list for 3 years and they'll buy, but like the lion's share happens in that really early window. So that's something to consider. Where I totally agree with what John was saying about, like, when you got them in the cart, like maximize that, because that probably 80 or 90% of the time, that's the only time you're going to have them there.
There was something interesting.
I did an experiment where I tried, I was like, man, it would be nice to not have to do these annoying upsells, right? And so what if instead of doing the one-click upsell, I just wired up Drip so that as soon as they purchased, they'd get an email with the same offer.
The
same exact offer. So the in-cart, like the one-time offer in the cart was converting at, like, you know, say 7%. The email version, same exact thing, but just not one click, 0 sales. Zero. Like 0%. So it's like
how many, like, is it like just one email you're talking, or is it multiple?
I think it was just the one email, but it went out like as soon as they bought. I mean, it was like,
so like 50% were doing this and 50% were doing that. Is that what was the cohort?
I didn't split test it. It wasn't a split test. It was just like I ran the one for a week and I ran the other for a week, kind of thing.
So it's a temporal split test.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, it did not work at all. It was kind of shockingly ineffective. So that, I mean, of all the things that I found in terms of like marketing funnel hacks or whatever, like the upsells in the cart are the one thing that is like, you can take it to the bank. Like that's gonna.
Yeah. And it's best if it's, I mean, like, I don't know, if you can plan it, right? If you can have the bumps and the upsells that specifically make sense, right, for that,
Right.
as opposed to just random products, right? Like where it's, you know,
the random products do work to some extent, but it's much better if they're related and everything's taking them in the same direction that they're already going.
So then, that's interesting. Yeah, you want to, yeah. I mean, bumps convert the best. We know that, right? Bumps are like the highest conversion point, like up to 25% easy. Yeah. Not easy, but straight up, like we've seen that. We've done that again and again. And then upsells will convert at a lower price, lower conversion rate, but they will still convert. But yeah, trying to get someone to buy again is almost like a 1%, 2%, 3% chance if you get them back on email.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, they'll buy again at a much higher rate than your general list, but it's such a small number at that point that it's not.
Yeah.
And the likelihood of getting them to buy again, it would be interesting. I don't know, getting them to buy again a similar thing that they've already bought, but spaced out over time. If that makes sense. I think that is much more likely to happen all in the moment.
Yeah.
Versus, but they're much more likely to buy a meditation course and advanced meditation course all at once than they are to buy them separately.
Yeah.
Because they're probably really into meditation at that one moment, and a month from now they won't be.
Yeah, meditation is one of those things I can sell with a lot of different products in my cart because it works with productivity, it works with emotional intelligence, it works with mental toughness, it works with social skills, like kind of crosses the borders. So it's a very versatile thing, but it's harder sell initially for someone to buy into the idea of meditation. So the other thing I've been thinking about, which we've all been thinking about, is the membership, like going to a straight up monthly membership program. But then again, it's like, then it changes the game. Everything changes at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably just gonna go with the current funnel and more evolved upsells, etc. I guess. Okay.
All right. So I've been kicking ass this week. Finally started this week and last week I got back into gear. So I've been waking up at 6:15 every morning. And I've been planning out everything on my Kanban board and doing Pomodoros, trying to hit about 8 per day.
Nice.
So some days I'm hitting a little bit less, depending on because I don't count meetings and stuff like that. I only count productive, what I consider work that has an output, to be Pomodoro worthy. So, but I pretty much have been killing it. I've got Bulldog Mindset, that was up last week. And I've got just a bunch of stuff. I'm working on the 9.9 design for it. I'll have to put out a vote for it. I've got, because the first phase just ended today. So I should have the logo. I've got some pretty good options there. And then what else did I implement? I implemented a good description for the YouTube videos that will go in every description, which I think will help with some conversions. It's playlist heavy. So I had this idea. I was like, well, obviously the first offer with my description for the YouTube uploads which I'm using emojis in there, by the way. It's pretty cool. You can do that now. So that is like eye catching. But the first one is the opt-in to take the quiz. Are you a bulldog? Which right now is converting at like 50%. But then is the book. But then all the rest of the links, like in the description, are playlists, right? And what I figured is I'm not really calling them playlists in the description. I'm stating the problem, like learn how to lose weight, or take this free course on losing fat 101, right? And the idea there is that, you know, they're going to click the link and then start watching the playlist. They're already on YouTube. And so, you know, primarily, aside from them opting in via email, the primary thing that I want people to do on the YouTube channel is watch more videos, especially playlist videos, right? And so, and I've got some series on starting a business, on losing fat. So these are basically little free mini courses on YouTube. It's kind of the same idea as getting people to opt into an email sequence, right? Mini course. And so I think this, we'll see how this works, but I think this will work really well, because if I can get people to start, you know, clicking on those playlists and watching those video series, which I've got them all pretty linked, so I can track how many people are clicking on those things. So that'll be interesting. That'll be an interesting experiment to see how that works. But yeah, I've been working on that. I'm gonna set up a membership option on Bulldog Mindset YouTube, because it's so easy to do. So that where they pay like $5 a month. I just got to figure out the perk I put for it. Was basically like, sometimes you'll get exclusive content.
You know what would be an amazing perk? A YouTube live.
Yeah, but see, yes, and I said that. So here's the key about perks, right? Because I've been down this road before. Never promise anything, really, right? So for example, if I promise a YouTube live every week or every month, then I'm on the hook for that. But if I'm like, sometimes you'll get access to exclusive live YouTube live Q&A sessions, videos, you know, stuff that's on the member channel, right? So then I can randomly throw out stuff but I'm not committed. I'm not on the hook for.
But you love doing videos anyway. So one live a month isn't really that far a stretch of imagination. But if it's concrete, you get much higher conversions compared to when it's kind of vague.
I don't think so. I don't think people are going to pay $5 for a live stream. But for the grab bag of being part of the community, and right, so it's better. The focus is more.
You can make them part of a Facebook community if that helps.
Again, that we already like. That's more of a different thing. This is YouTube, right? So they get special avatars and like.
Oh yeah, YouTube.
Yeah. So the thing is to make it so that it's not. It's just a bonus, right? And that there's no like implied value there. It's just bonus. Like if you support the channel, you'll get some bonus stuff, right? That's at least that's the way that I'm playing it right now. Otherwise, it becomes something that you have to support. You know, it's different with the Simple Programmer membership community, with the forum, where it's, you know, again though, I think more of the appeal to it is to say that this is something that like the community is the value here, which otherwise you get on the hook for it, and it's not worth the, you know, not worth it, especially when you're making content that's exclusive to members, and so it's not actually helping to grow your YouTube channel. So, you know, I mean, the other way I think of it is this way, right? Like if I'm going to jump on a video for an hour, I can do coaching call and make $1,500. So how many members would I have to have, right? That would be the smarter thing to do, right? It doesn't make sense. Like,
but then how many of those would actually want to become a coaching client because they've not tasted it? There's a possibility of upsell, right?
But why not just make a Q&A and just do a live stream for everyone and get the whole audience? I mean, there's no real benefit there.
Well, the audience that buys is much more likely to. So you're pre-qualifying them, and now you're able to get them.
Yeah, but that same audience exists in the greater audience. It just, there's no reason to like put yourself on the hook for for something that's going to be on a monthly basis that you don't have the monetary support for, right? If you had like basically people paying you, you know, $4,000 or $5,000 a month through membership, and you had to jump on a call to do a Q&A once a month for those members, that's different. But you know, if I started doing this, it wouldn't be worth the time, because it's not going to, again, it's not going to scale either, right? Because creating those videos they only work for, they're only for the members in that case. So yeah, I'd rather spend the time making a live stream for everyone. So not that I won't from time to time, you know, produce some content for them, but the idea is to make it so that it's like, it's just a bonus thing. Like you get special avatar, right? And we'll see. I mean, it's not definitely a main revenue model. It's just, if you have a YouTube channel, you might as well have a membership option. You might as well have a way for people to pay you $5 a month. And right, unless you're using that as your business model, in which case, then I agree with you, make the perks very specific and whatnot. But if you're just putting it out there to say, well, YouTube gives me an option for people to click this button and pay me $5 a month, why not do it? Like, then you have to make it as least committed as possible. Otherwise, it becomes something different. So, I've also got the content syndication plan set up for
you
that.
see my content syndication now on Instagram?
I'm working on it. I've got
Did you see mine? It's now.
Oh yeah.
It's getting the machine is churning now that we have the videos ready and the info cards ready, the 1-minute videos.
Yeah.
It's literally probably have like, what, 15 hours of content on YouTube, 20 hours of content. So that would mean 1,000 videos.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's looking good for sure. That's, yeah, I keep on seeing your posts coming out.
Is that your, like, are you gonna do like, that's part of the, yeah, we talked about it. So you guys are gonna start churning that as well.
Yeah. I got to figure out, you know, I'm going to manually do it at first and put specific clips on there, and then figure out how to get
You're gonna create the clips?
No, Rodrigo's creating the clips.
So then what's the manual part about it?
Is selecting like the filter process and putting them on Instagram, right? And putting the description, right? And all of that, and the tagging, so that I can have a process that I can give him that.
Yeah, works. Tagging is pretty, I mean, the hashtags are pretty powerful on Instagram. You can almost get like 10% of your views from hashtags of people who don't know you. Yeah,
hashtagging is critical for sure. It's basically your SEO for Instagram.
Yeah.
So, but I also recorded the audio version of the Stop Being Lazy book yesterday.
Oh, hey.
For the whole thing. So I got an editor, a couple editors that are gonna edit. It's only 2 hours of audio. So
what have been your sales so far on this now?
On the actual book itself?
Yeah.
Good question.
And what are the daily sales now?
The daily sales aren't looking too good right now. I mean, they're still, so how can I see the total sales? Let me see, historical, or no, month. Yeah, I guess month to date would be it. Yeah, because it was launched this month. So total units sold are 1,102.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Kindle Unlimited pages read is 3,072.
How much does Kindle pay for that unlimited?
It depends. They give you like revenue sharing.
Yeah, it's a pretty small amount, but the advantage of it is that it counts towards your ranking. It's not really worth it financially, but it's worth it to have. We took our book out. We took the career guide out, and our sales did not go up, and we dropped a lot in the ranking. I think we dropped like 8,000 places or something. It was bad. It was a bloodbath.
Like a rock.
Yep. Yeah, it helps a lot. So I mean, Kindle basically right now, Amazon's basically bribing bribing authors to get their books in the Kindle Unlimited program by subsidizing. They're paying more than, they're not paying the revenue share. They're paying more than that to get you to do it, because they want everything in Kindle Unlimited, which is great for them and not so great for authors.
Yeah, they're creating a monopoly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like right now about 50, or was it 95 print sales. So, and on top of the Kindle, and then it looks like yesterday there was 6. Well, okay, so 2 days ago there was 2 ebook, 2 Kindle sales, and 6 paperback. Yesterday there was 6 ebook and 4 paperback. Today so far there's 2 ebook and 1 paperback.
It's more or less what, 5 to 10 sales a day is what you're seeing right now.
Yeah, we'll see. It. I need more time for it to figure out what it'll stabilize at, but I'm guessing that it'll be about 5 sales a day, which isn't too bad. I mean, like if
What's
you
total, like $10 a day? Is that what it is going to be?
that's probably sounds about right. So, yeah, $300 a month for that. But that's why the audio is critical. Like the audio normally double the sale of either.
And it's going to be on Audible.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put on Audible. So, it could be a, the book could generate like $20 a day worth of revenue. So it's not too bad. It will pay for itself pretty quickly, but there is some, listening to the audio or reading the audio version of it. I think if I do one of these in the future, I'm just gonna write it myself. Even though Sheena did good writing, it still doesn't sound like me. I can see where people kind of complain, and it's not as like detailed the way that I would. But I'll tell you what, the audio version, I went off. I added probably twice the content. So the audio version has a bunch of riffs from me. So I'm gonna.
You should do it the other way around, John. Do the audio version first. No, I'm serious. Do the audio version first, and then hire someone to write the book.
Yeah,
get somebody to help you organize. Pull all your videos together, get them transcribed, have them outline the book based on what you covered in those videos and the topics and the ideas. And then this is kind of how we did the course. I worked with Jason. So I basically I just worked with him and just sat there and we kind of pulled out a lot of the detail. You already have that because you've got all these videos. So just have somebody organize the videos for you and then put the outline together. And then you honestly could probably just run through the outline and make an audiobook.
Yeah.
You know
That's true. The only problem with that is that how will the audio come out? It'll be me somewhat.
That's true. Yeah, it'll be more. Well, or you record that. Okay, you record that version, and then you have the editor. Then you have them transcribe it, and then you have them. Yeah, I think there's just there was the step of capturing your voice has to happen.
So
yeah.
Remember, a couple of authors have gone down this path now where they're actually ad-libbing the book. And those are the most fun books to listen to. Gary Vaynerchuk did that for Ask Gary Vee.
Exactly,
I think, Grant Cardone did that for 10X Rule. Or not 10X Rule, but Be Obsessed or Be Average. And he's now doing that for most of his books. But those are the most, literally the most engaging and fun books to listen to. And that's why I'm going down the path of trying to do summaries where I'm discussing with someone, because it makes it even another level of more natural. It's different steps of natural voice.
Yeah.
Discussion makes it way more engaging and way more natural. I wonder if there's a way to do a book that is a discussion based. That would be pretty cool.
You could, essentially
nobody does that, but that would be a very interesting angle on the book industry, because all book industry is very tight, buttoned up, clean, edited shit.
Yeah.
Which people kind of don't like. People get annoyed with that. It puts you to sleep.
Yeah.
It literally puts me to sleep.
You could definitely, I mean, you can put whatever you want on Audible, right? You
Yeah.
can, and call it a book. So
Yeah.
it's,
No,
it's
but I'm saying
definitely-
that might be an interesting angle to get interviewed or be in like make the book an interview process.
yeah.
Talk about an interactive book in some ways. Almost
And
like the audience is involved in that.
one thing in hiring an editor for the book, I hired like 3 people, very cheap audio editing, but it's pretty interesting. I was looking at their samples, and not to toot my own horn, but damn, I'm good at reading audio for books compared to most of the. Holy shit! There's so many people are so bad,
Yeah.
so horrible at doing voice acting, at voiceover. I was like, I was just so blown away how bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you like if you go back when we went back and listened to the soft skills narration when we were doing the career guide, and it was like 10 times better. The new version was like 10 times better.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was even after you'd done all those Pluralsight courses too.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
Yeah. The other thing I was finding was that if I just created a mind map and then riffed off of the mind map, I had much better audio than if I actually wrote it out.
yeah.
Because the mind map and all those things, like I have the big picture idea, but now I can go with my emotions and emphasize and do the right things. But if I just straight up try to read out from the audio, it made me sound very robotic. So different levels of engagement, I guess, in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, it depends too. Like, again, it is a skill to be able to read and put the emphasis into the reading, right? But
you will always tell when someone is reading compared to when someone's just telling it as it is. And as humans, we're much more wired to respond to something when it is someone telling you as it is compared to when someone's reading it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think good narrators can blur the lines quite a bit. It's not, you can still somewhat tell, but I would say that you can tell more from the sentence structure than from the tonality, right?
Okay, so I will tell you this. Okay, let me give you another angle. There is you're right. You're looking at it from the producer's perspective, from the person who's creating it perspective. But if you look at it from the listener's perspective, I've been following a few travel vlogs, right? And you can literally see the evolution of that person from like when initially they were doing the blog or the vlog, they're doing the voice after, like, and they're writing it out, and you can see it's all scripted, and like she's trying to kind of go over it and explain, like, even though she's using the most amazing words and she's trying to make a beautiful sentence, it just feels awkward. But then you come to their newer videos, and then they're just going it as they're feeling it, and it feels so much more natural, and it feels so much more like you can connect with that person.
Yeah, I mean, that's the key to good voice acting, is to be able to be as close to that as possible.
I haven't come across a single audiobook that I can say is anywhere close to making a natural connection compared to listening to the same person on even a podcast.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. But you definitely can see the contrast of the people that have an unnatural reading voice, where they're just reading. You know what I mean? Like yes, it's definitely different when you hear someone speaking in a podcast, but versus when they're reading. But the professionally done audiobooks have much more feeling and connection than the standard just reading a script type of, that's what makes an audio like a voiceover person have talent.
It's
like
it's really a different context. It's more of a performance.
Yes. Yeah.
I greatly prefer to have audiobooks read by the author, though.
Yeah, but authors can be really bad readers.
Yeah, well, yeah, they can.
If you listen to Eckhart Tolle, I bet you'll fall asleep like 5 different times, which might be good because you're stressed out and that might be the way to read this book. You just fall asleep. You're like, oh, relieve the stress. That's the power of now.
I have to tell you though, like after listening to The War of Art, the audiobook so many times, like I imagine that that's actually Stephen Pressfield's voice. And so when I hear him actually speaking, I'm like, it's not him. It's not him. Does it better.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I've been reading the Harry Potter books to my kids, and then I've been up until this point. We're on the 5th. We've read the 5 of the books at this point. So I finally broke down and let them watch one of the movies.
Yeah,
because I didn't want to I don't like because once you watch the movie, then that becomes your frame for the book.
Right.
Like all the characters in your head look like they do in the movie. So so I let them watch. Let them watch it last weekend, and it was fun. But then my middle son Jonah starts telling me how all the things that the book left out. I'm like, no.
Yeah,
that's funny.
So here's my crazy stats for the Bulldog Mindset list. This is insane at this point. Like the conversion rate I've already told you is over like 50%, and it really is over 50%. I have 341 subscribers now on there. I've had 1 unsubscribe.
Nice.
I've sent out a lot of emails. There's a 4 email sequence in the campaign. It's been sent to everyone's at least gotten. I mean, some people are still working through that, but at least 150 people have gotten 4 or 5 emails from me. 0 unsubscribes from any of those.
150 people have gotten the mental toughness email as well.
Yeah.
We need to make a better offer in that case.
Yeah, I probably should. Well, let me see how many. I've got 77 opens on the Mentally Tough.
Okay.
But
how many clicks?
19 clicks. So 1 sale out of 19 clicks is not bad.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
when we get like maybe to 100, then we'll have a good analysis of what needs to be done to improve that offer.
But it's pretty good. The open rate is like 70.9% on the first email. On the second email, it's 54.2. The third email on that sequence is 34.8. And the fourth email is 43.8. So it actually went up. But that one's titled Want Some Help Becoming a Bulldog. So
that's a coaching invitation.
Yeah, that's a coaching invitation. So
is that like, are you what's the process there? Are you asking them to respond to you, or are you asking them to set up a call, or what's the deal?
I don't
in their
know.
email, like how are you getting them in your coaching funnel?
I think I've just asked them to reply to the email.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see what I've said here. Basically, yeah, I've just said that I have 5 people max at a time. These slots are full. Most of the time, these slots are full and very expensive. So not everyone is qualified for it. I put the actual pricing in there just so I don't get a bunch of stuff. And then I've said basically...
Oh, you put the actual pricing in there?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, the pitch is like... Here, I'll give you guys the pitch. I think it's pretty good. I hope that last email inspired you and gave you a better idea of what it means to be a bulldog and have a bulldog mindset that I've been preaching. Honestly, I feel once you develop the bulldog mindset, you can achieve pretty much anything you set your mind to in life, be that money, women, fame, fortune, physical accomplishments, weight loss, fitness, financial freedom, and the list goes on and on. Anyway, I know that one of the most difficult parts about making a change in your life is following through. It all begins with the first action, which you've already taken. Congrats, by the way. But the real change happens when you step up and step out every single day over a long period of time. And then I've got a link to my own transformation video. This is check out my transformation here. It can help to have a mentor and a coach, someone to make sure you keep going the direction you're supposed to be going and help you figure out what that direction is. Now, I wish I could be a mentor and coach to everyone, but I can't, at least not on a one-on-one. There just isn't enough of my time. I have to spend most of my effort making videos, writing books, writing emails, going out and speaking in order to reach and affect the most people possible and maximize my time and impact. But I do offer some limited, very limited coaching slots. Right now, I only coach 5 people max at a time, and most of the time these slots are full and very expensive. Now, personal coaching by me is not for everyone. Not everyone is ready. Not everyone can afford it. Not everyone is qualified for it. But if you are interested, I'm not going to play any games here. I'm just going to come right out and tell you the price so that we don't waste each other's time. I charge $3,000 a month for a Skype call once every 2 weeks and unlimited email support, minimum 3-month commitment. Most of my coaching clients have gone on and done some really awesome shit with their lives, like building their own businesses and getting their jobs, or in quitting their jobs, investing in real estate, losing a shit ton of weight and getting in shape, learning to overcome social anxiety, and some of them doing all of those things at once. But again, like I said, it may not be for you. If you are like, shit, that's crazy expensive, there's no way I could afford that, then it's definitely not for you, at least not right now. I was there once. You should see the kinds of prices I pay now for coaching and training. Anyway, if you're interested, and if you can afford it, and if you're truly at the stage in your life where you can actually benefit from one-on-one coaching, as opposed to watching my thousands of YouTube videos, reading one of my books, or learning in some other way, you can apply for coaching by replying to this email and giving me a simple explanation of who you are, why you want and would benefit from the coaching, and what your goals in life are. All right, Bulldog, that's all I've got for now. So
interesting. How many have you gotten any responses to this so far?
I don't know. The emails just went out this morning, so
this is the new, like, how many people opened versus?
Right now there's 57 opens and 10 clicks.
Okay, clicks on the video.
Yeah, I'm assuming, yeah, it must be clicks on the video, so we'll see. But yeah, that whole strategy is basically on the making it exclusive and making it, and then also just, I mean, just from a strategic viewpoint, I don't want to fuck around with all these people emailing me looking for, you know, can you jump on a call with me for $100?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Plus, the other thing that it does is, like, it's a good positioning move with that email, because even if you know, most people don't, you know, convert to coaching clients, and very few people do at that price, it positions my time and everything else that I'm selling is highly valuable, right? Because if I'm charging $3,000 a month for coaching, then if I try to sell you a course later on for $200, that's a pretty good bargain.
Yeah.
So.
Nice. I like it.
And it's true too. I'm also only leaving the slots. I only have 5 slots at any given time. So.
Yeah. Nice. What's going on with you, Josh?
Well, I wrapped up the course this week, so that's good to be done with that. I'll probably do a survey now that we're done, find out, you know, what people thought and what we could, if we do it again, what we could do better next time. The workflow with Jason went really, really well. Like, I think that is something that I can use again to produce more content like this. The idea, because I think the idea that most people are going to be able to produce a decent course is kind of far-fetched. So being able to have them kind of record a rough version of it, me go through and then pull the rest of it out of them, that worked really, really well. And the difference between the first webinar that we did and the second was like night and day. And that was when we started doing the more hands-on process. So, so that was a good takeaway from that. And then, you know, so we're going to be doing, John and I talked yesterday about the, next week we're going to do another membership drive. So I actually haven't done one for 2 months at this point. So we'll see. So I skipped last month because I did the course launch, and we got a bunch of new members coming in via that. So this will be our first new membership push in 2 months. And we're going to do, we're going to actually have John write 2 of the emails and do a video about him coming back to Simple Programmer and being available inside the membership, and see what that does to the overall. We're not changing anything else about it this month.
Is there a new offer this time around, or
no? Well, he's going to do a 90-minute Q&A session with the members where they can submit their questions, and then we'll choose the best questions, and they can potentially, we might let them ask their question live, so they'd actually be talking.
It's a live video Q&A.
Yeah, like a Zoom video type of thing.
I'll do an intervention. I'll do it.
So we're gonna give that a try and just see. I'm not changing anything else about the offer because I just want to see what kind of impact that has over what we've been doing. And then I've got some other ideas about how we can continue to improve the offer and figure out like what we're building long term. But for right now, we're gonna roll with that and just see how much having John in the mix, back in the mix, moves the needle. Yeah. So I sent out an email yesterday.
If it doesn't move the needle, are you gonna fire John again?
I don't know. We'll have to cross that bridge when we come to it. He's only a plane flight away, so I have to tread carefully. Or just one long run away, right?
Hey, I don't care. You can fire me. As long as you double the revenue, you can fire me. I'm fine. Like, just make more money and you can fire me.
Yeah, what was I going to say? I had one other thing I was going to say. I worked on, so I was very excited about this. I spent a couple days actually working on getting our forum integration all hooked up to WooCommerce, and it's working now, and it's wonderful. So you sign up. It used to be that you'd sign up, and then I would send you a link to register on the software, on the forum software. And now you sign up, you actually get an email from Drip with your username and a password that I'm calling a temporary password because there's security-minded. Like, who cares if your simple programmer forum account gets hacked? But there will be people who will be all up in arms about this. So I sent them instructions on how to change the password if they don't like it. That I sent it to them via email. So you sign up, your account gets created automatically. We email you your username and password.
You email them a random password, right?
It is random, yes.
Okay, then then it won't be a problem. What's a problem, and it's a legitimate one, is when, and WordPress says this by default, stupidest fucking thing ever, is when you sign up for account manually and you enter a password, like it says create your password, it sends you a fucking email with your password that you typed in. Now, if it's a random one that's generated by the system, it's fine. It's not a security problem because it's a temporary password. Change your password. That's that's standard enough.
It's not one that you might have used on some other website.
Exactly. The problem and the reason why people complained in the past had to do with the fact that they typed in a password and it got sent to them. I mean, when I see that ticks me off. Like, I mean, and then I'm like, these people are idiots, or it's WordPress. But some people get like really irate about that. So,
so I'm pretty happy with how it all came together. So I've got it connected to Drip and everything. So I'm doing, and then when the more important thing though that I got this week is that when they unsubscribe, when they cancel their membership, it automatically takes them out of it disables their forum account, and it removes the active member tag in Drip. So now I have a clean list. Like, the problem was that people were unsubscribing and they wouldn't, like, it was very hard because like they would be entering their own username and email address on the registration, and it wouldn't match what they were using in the checkout. So I had no way of knowing like who was still active and who wasn't. And it's not been bad to this point, but as we get more members, it'd be a nightmare to manage. But so with this now, it automatically, the billing email gets used to create the forum account. They match up, and then I can disable that account when they cancel automatically. So it should be pretty streamlined. So pretty excited about that. I got stuck for like half a day. This is why software development is so much fun. I got stuck for half a day because I was improperly formatting the request to the Drip API.
Yeah.
I've done this before where I forget, like, a custom field. If you have a custom field that you want to submit, you can't just put it in the request. It has to be in an item called custom fields. Like, you have to make an array a sub object that's custom fields, and then you've got an object with all your key value pairs. And I always forget about that. And so I did it again this time, and it was like half a day. Like, why isn't this working? But it's all good now. That was definitely well worth it. But yeah. So then after this launch, after the promotion this month, we're going to go to doing the themed months with themed content that we're going to be doing on the with the emails, and then also on the membership. Like, it'll all be tied together, and hopefully that'll start to get things get everything kind of working together.
So I want to. I know in November you said you want to do the confidence thing. I want to get the ball rolling on that now rather than later. Okay. What is the timeline, and what's the angle? So maybe I can create some upsells for it.
Okay, so what I have right now is a note that says 11/26, 11/27, Cyber Monday, Self-Confidence Book Bundle from Manny. So that is as far as I've gotten with that. I mean, for the month, what I'm planning on doing is sending out a survey early in, like, first couple emails in the month will be basically survey emails. And I might actually send these out. This would be interesting. This would be an interesting split test, John. I might split test sending half of them out under your name and half out under mine, and seeing what the replies look like.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Because I sent out, so yesterday I sent out an email that got the highest open rate that I've seen in quite a while, and it was about, should I learn Python? Was the subject line. And I got 4 replies total. One of them was an out of office reply. One of them was literally the word "why?" ? Another one was correcting me on a date that I got wrong. And then one was from a guy who's like, "I'm a new programmer and this was helpful. Thank you." So yeah, I think I might try sending the survey out under your name and see.
So depending on what your motives are, Josh, you can really have very interesting cohorts here. So if you really want John to send out future emails, then what you can do is send all the previous opens through John's email, and non-opens through yours.
Yeah, there you go.
But if you want yourself
to with the segmenting.
If you want yourself to be the one sending emails, then you just say
flip it.
All the previous opens under your name, and non-opens under John's name.
Or
and say, John,
I could do an honest, legitimate A/B test,
which wouldn't really give you the right data.
Yeah. So that what you just described, though, is exactly what people used to do with direct mail lists. So list brokers would sell you, like, you'd buy the list and you'd say, I want 10,000 names. They'd send you 10,000 names of the most recent buyers, and you'd get like amazing results. And then you'd buy the whole list and it would be crickets.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's like what I'm thinking for next month. And then we'll probably do, so we're going to do so I'm thinking the 11th through the 13th through the 15th, I will do a new membership enrollment. And I think I'll probably be increasing the price. Well, assuming that if we can, like, if we see a huge boost from bringing John back, I'm going to increase the price. And then we'll probably do some kind of members only coaching thing or discussion, or something like a book discussion, or some kind of coaching thing, like either group coaching or something like that around self-confidence for the members. And then yours would be coming towards the tail end of the month. It would be Cyber Monday. So that's typically Cyber Monday just works better. It's funny because you'd think that it would not, because people are getting tons of offers, but we've seen like Cyber Monday almost always outperforms the same sale on. Yeah, it's like people are just like, they're in complete like screw it mode, and they're just throwing their credit card at everything, and they'll deal with it in January. So what do you actually have a self-confidence bundle now? Like it's actually, or did you just rebrand something, or what? How did that? I forget
Yeah.
where we are with that.
Yeah, I can. I mean, I have a mental toughness and self-confidence bundle that's 60 books, so it can always be split up into two, and that allows for
Okay.
initially pitching them the self-confidence thing for $29, and then bumping it up with other mental toughness book summary areas for another 29, and then selling them more, maybe like productivity or like the how to become a bulldog, like one of John's courses that we recorded, and even
Yeah.
meditation. So that could be like a detailed funnel there.
Yeah, I mean, I think keeping
If there's a
the
specific topic that your audience gravitate towards in terms of confidence/mental toughness area, fear or whatever it is, then we can self-esteem or one of those, then we can actually go and look into how we can add something around that.
I'm trying to think back of the language that I've seen them use, and I feel like it's mainly just like, I feel like I've seen the phrase like I'm lacking self-confidence seems to be the number one thing that, I mean, like, so having some upsells around like overcoming fears and stuff, like John, what if you guys John was talking about doing that, like a overcoming your fears course. So you could do like a mini version of that.
I mean,
John
and I could get on a call and we could probably record a overcoming your fears course.
Yeah, or on a plane, and we can jump.
That's usually the best thing.
Want to do that? We can jump out of the plane and we'll be live streaming.
It will only be 10 seconds. 10-second course.
And I think either way, no matter how that ends, I could probably sell it. So
no matter how that ends.
We'll just hit it all at once. What we'll do is we'll be like, we'll jump out of a plane, right?
With snakes.
No, and then we'll be like, right? Go up to this one of the girl instructors and, hey, what's up? How you doing?
And then she kicks you out of the plane.
They're like, we might die. Trying to pick up. I'm just saying we might die. Die.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Next
I love it. So yeah, I mean, I think starting with self-confidence probably makes the most sense. I think that's the word that I've seen used the most.
Yeah.
But then having like those types of upsells, I think things like, overcoming your fears would probably work a lot better than mental toughness.
Yeah. Okay. You really, even after what John's been preaching that shit for a long time now, the mental toughness thing.
Yeah, no, yeah, I know, but I think it's closer to we did kind of measure that, and it was okay, right? It wasn't like, it was not our best one by any means. So, I think that overcoming your fears, like overcoming social anxiety, that would be a good one.
Social skills is a separate one. So if you want to do that, I totally.
Well,
social skills is a completely different one.
Do it as an upsell.
No, okay, I will, but trust me, social skills is such a big area all by itself that you could literally. I think social skills will outsell productivity just because of how many requests I get on a daily basis for that compared to anything else. And you guys have been selling soft skills as an idea for a long time. So that one is
right.
I think that one is ripe for doing all by itself. In fact, if you wanted, you could do social skills.
I would be up for doing that at a later date.
Yeah.
For sure.
It all depends on how you pitch it to, right? No one wants mental toughness, right? Or confidence. They want what those things get them. Right. And so it's like, again, what is the problem? The problem is that I have social anxiety, that I'm afraid, that I, whatever it is, the problem is I can't, whatever they're like, it's about finding that hook that
Right.
You could pitch the different products,
Yeah.
but if they're getting the outcome,
Yeah, I mean, I think the key is to start from a place of like anxiety, like the person starting from a place of anxiety. So they're probably not going to resonate with the mental toughness thing. You'd have to pitch it from more of a, don't let your fears hold you back kind of thing, or don't be so easily discouraged by this and that.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like mental toughness is an umbrella area. So you can literally, fear is part of mental toughness. Confidence is part of mental toughness. Self-esteem is more part of mental toughness. So you can pitch each of them separately.
Yeah.
And still get away with mental toughness in general.
Yeah, it's more a question of where you start and what benefits you emphasize.
Yeah.
So I did some. So I was trying to do some keyword research for my recent video on how to control your emotions. Initially, my thing was, okay, let me do how to manage emotions, right? So I was like, no. So I did research. Oh, how to control emotions is way powerful. So then I'm like, interesting. But then I kept on researching in Google Keyword Planner, and I found out control emotions is maybe 10,000 a month.
Okay.
How to control your anger is 45,000 a month.
Right.
So the specific emotion is actually much more than the blanket area.
Well, yeah. So also, okay. So think about the people. I mean, this is going to come across as sexist probably, but think about like, it's probably, I would say that the people who are searching how to control your emotions are going to be mostly women.
Yeah.
And there's the people that are searching how to control your anger are going to be mostly men. Yeah. And it's a much more specific problem. Like for if someone feels like they're too emotional and they cry a lot, like that's a lot less pressing than like, I just punched my wife and now I'm going to go to jail. You know what I mean? Like that's it's a much more pressing problem. So I can definitely, I could buy it.
For some reason, when you're like, most of the women are probably searching for how to control emotion, and most of the men are searching for how to control your anger. I'm somehow thinking of the Do You Like Pina Coladas song? I don't know why. I see like
that song.
Do you know the song, Manny? You guys don't know that? Do you like pina coladas? Do you like pina coladas or getting caught in the rain?
Oh yeah.
The guy like puts out a personal ad and like meets this woman, and it's his spouse or whatever. But anyway, I'm thinking of like this they're sitting in two separate rooms and they're like typing the same Google search, their variation of their Google search.
Yeah.
So what you're saying, Josh, is that men are more internet savvy because there's 4x the searches on that.
No,
that's why you're being sexist.
Well, because women don't know how to use computers. I mean, let's face it. Let's just be honest. No.
Wait, what kind of nationality of women are you talking about?
Oh my god!
we just gotta trap the fuck out of Josh.
Yeah, I'm gonna get hate. I'm gonna get hate mail now. So I'll have to change my identity.
I'm looking at Google Ads Keyword Planner, and self-confidence volume is 74,000.
I bet you. Can you tell me? I bet you that the cost per click on Control Your Anger is like 4 times higher.
Okay, let me look at it.
I bet you that it's a lot higher click rate.
So let me give you the rundown on the current keywords we're talking about, and then I'll get to how to control your fear as well. So fear search volume is 246,000. Anxiety is 1 million.
Yeah.
Self-esteem is 200,000. Self-confidence is 74,000. So anxiety is ridiculously high because it's a very specific and painful emotion compared to self-esteem, which is like not even an emotion. It's like, maybe I should improve my self-esteem.
Well, and probably a lot of the people searching on self-esteem are also going to be professionals.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like,
so I've done this research for you guys already.
All right.
Okay.
I'll just pull this off of my Bulldog Mindset blog topics list. The number one one I put on there is how to stop a panic attack.
Hmm.
Because anxiety and panic attack is way up there.
Hmm.
Well, let's see, what were the other major ones that were there? Oh, here it is. How to build self-confidence.
Yeah.
The ultimate guide to 1 meal a day. Oh, mad.
How
to talk to
How
girls.
to build self-confidence or how to build self-esteem? Which one did you find was bigger?
How to build self-confidence. Yep.
My research is saying self-esteem is bigger, 3 times bigger.
Well, it's bigger. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anybody in our audience use the word self-esteem
Ah, interesting.
in replies. I mean, it's possible they have, and I just haven't. But I've seen self-confidence a lot.
Interesting.
So, and so that could also be one where it varies a lot by the niche too. So for yourself, you're probably going to be thinking self-confidence. For your kid, it's going to be like, how do I boost their self-esteem?
Yeah.
Potentially.
And self-esteem bid price is much higher than almost anything else in the list. Yeah.
I want to hear the anger versus emotions one too.
Oh, yeah. How to control your emotions.
I'm going to look at what's showing. So an interesting thing you can do is actually just doing a Google search and seeing what ads show up, because that gives you a pretty good idea of what type of people are looking for this stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm actually not seeing.
I found a really good keyword too. I hate my life.
Brutal.
It's great though. It's a perfect one. It has a very high search volume. I can make a blog post exactly titled that, and it's exactly the audience that I'm looking for.
Really? Are you looking for that?
For people that hate their lives, yes. To give them a Bulldog Mindset is all about transforming yourself.
Yeah, but that's like
changing your life.
That's the last. Like, you really want that?
Yeah, it's all about transforming yourself. Like that. Those are the people I'm looking for.
I don't want that. I don't want those people in my audience. People who hate their lives. I want people who are actually wanting to. Well, yeah. I guess that's a different avatar there.
Yeah.
Who's your avatar in this thing?
For Bulldog Mindset?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few different avatars. One of them is like I said, the people that the biggest avatar is people that want to change, that have recognized that their life is shit, that they're basically want to change and transform in some way. That's the basic one. And then
that's pretty broad.
Everyone I mean, you could say that it's like, the nerdy kind of, maybe socially dejected type of person that wants to change and grow and become strong. But then there's also probably another segment, which is the people who are like productivity, self-development, right? Freaks that want to, so it basically is like both ends of the spectrum, which is great because that's what I want to have, is like to have the community where people are able to help each other. So, and you've got people that have success that are helping people that don't have success.
So how to control emotions, 58 cent cost per click.
50 cents?
58 cents.
58 cents.
How to control.
That's really low.
$1. Well, the bids are different, right? Top of page,
the bids,
high and low range. The range is
what's the range?
Top of page, low is $1, high is $2.
Okay, and then anger?
Anger is top of page $1.33. Low range is $1.33. High range is $4.85.
So about 2.5 times.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, it makes sense. There's paid anger management courses. I've never seen a paid control your emotions course.
Yeah, it's a very interesting exercise in marketing. Depression is like $8. Depression is hardcore because, of course, all the drug companies are probably taking those out.
Yep.
Anxiety is again $8. Clinical depression is $8. Depressed is at $9. Yeah, it's amazing, man. $11. Depression treatment is $11. Fuck. All they're gonna do is keep the patient stuck forever in that. Psychotherapy is $17. Holy smokes.
Shit.
That's not, I mean, if you go up to like, if you go to like DUI attorneys and stuff, they'll be paying $100, $150 a click.
Yeah, but psychotherapy is like, it's interesting to know, like, psychotherapy is really highly, probably because it's a very local search, and like people who are looking for psychotherapy will pay for a therapist.
Right.
They will, or maybe they'll pay for the bulldog coach.
Here's a good business idea, Josh. You just basically go in and you make a whole like resource on DUIs, right? On what to do if you've gotten a DUI, how to like avoid getting a DUI, like all this stuff, right? That people that get DUIs would be searching for. And then your whole business model is to collect the leads and sell them to the DUI attorneys for like, $100 a lead. More than that.
How to not get a DUI even if you're drunk, and then you got to show them how you're riding dirty.
You can probably sell those for like $200 a lead if they're willing to pay $100 a click.
Yeah.
Pre-qualified leads. Good business.
But Josh got to get drunk every once in a while and start driving just to see what his avatar feels.
Plus, you get your ads on there. You get some nice banner ads.
Research.
You get the pages. You can get some pretty high converting banner ads for like.
He's gonna be on YouTube.
Jack Daniels and shit. Yeah.
YouTube videos of him driving drunk and still getting away. And this is how I do it. This is the step-by-step process of how to do it, how to beat the law every single time.
The SWAT team will be at my house.
Oh, man.
We should probably wrap up.
Yeah. That'll be our April Fool's email, though. I'll send the email, Josh. And I'll be like, yeah, Josh is not emailing, like, not really part of Simple Program anymore. Apparently, he was living a double life. Seemed to be kind of the straight-laced dude but he was really a little bit too much into the party, the hookers, cocaine. Yeah, he got caught driving dirty, and he's So I'll be sending emails from now on.
And there will be great rejoicing. It's actually kind of a cruel prank.
Oh, man.
All right. Don't drive drunk. That'll be my thought.
Ah, shit.
It's expensive to get off.
Yeah.
All right, I got mine. Mine is, and I think I've said this one before, and I just keep on saying it. Like, don't underestimate the value of hard work for solving life's problems, right? From depression to lack of motivation to whatever it is. Busting ass and kicking ass is usually the solution. It's usually the last thing that you want to do, but if you do it, it will turn things around. So just in the last, and again, this whole year has been that kind of discovery process for me, as I've realized that, I've gone from the phase of saying, well, I need to back off and just take a breather in life. And I did it. And I realized that, nope, I need to kick ass all the time. That's what I like to do. So I am going to continue to do that. And it's better that way. Having the accountability to doing the Pomodoro technique has been big. It's like, I think sometimes I would get to the point where I'm like, I don't really need the safety rails of the Pomodoro technique and organizing my time, and then you slowly slip and get off track, and then having that is good, having that rigor. So, and yeah, and part of kicking ass, I just signed up, or I'm signing up for another marathon in January, the Dopey Challenge for Disney Marathon, which will be like run a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, and then a full marathon, all back to back, like different days, like 4 days in a row. So I'll be doing that.
Josh is going to be joining you.
Yeah.
Via drone. The John Cam.
Is that really your thought, or drunk?
I honestly don't have anything better right now, so I might just let that one go.
Oh my God. Okay, so my thoughts, like, I'm part of it's almost like living in extremes, living in black and white rather than living in gray zone. So trying to find a way to cut off work at certain time of day or certain time of week, rather than just letting it slip into all day, every day, all time, all the time, because then it becomes really it sucks your productivity out.
Yep.
So you do a lot. You're sitting in front of a computer, you're doing a lot of things, but you're not anywhere as productive if you just said, I'm gonna stop all work by 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m., or by Friday at 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. and then not start until Monday morning or whatever it is. Having some guardrails against it so that you don't let it bleed all over, which I've been guilty of very often. I keep going back and forth. I'll have really disciplined times, and then I'll be like, let me just do some work at 10 in the night, and then before I know it, I'm basically, weekends are the same and weekdays are the same, and everything is a mishmash. And it really becomes a challenge at some point, because you're never off. So that means you're never really on either.
Mm-hmm.
There's two things I'd say about that, man. The first one is like the real solution for this that I've experimented with a lot, and probably Josh could attest to the same thing, which is when you use the Pomodoro technique, what you do is you figure out how many Pomodoro you're doing and you limit that, right? So actually, when I first started getting back into the productivity, I only let myself do 6 a day. So I had to very carefully prioritize and schedule and use that time. And that was it. That was my hard limit. Now it's 8. It could be 10, right? I would never make it more than 10, because you're going to have diminishing returns, if not this week, the next week. But somewhere around that, somewhere between 6 to 10, and then that's your hard limit. And what it does, and you have to adjust it for certain days, like when you have something on your calendar, like half a day you're going to a meeting or something, you got to be smart and say, okay, it's 4 for today. But the thing is, like with that, if you accomplish it, if it's like, okay, you have 8 and it's fully within your control, right? You can't control what you get done, but you can control if you do 8 Pomodoro, right? If you have the time, because that all to do a Pomodoro means you do 25 minutes of focused work and just focus, right? And so you can control that, right? So if you do that, and when you finish that, you're done. You can't do any more for the day. You can't do some for tomorrow. You're done, and you're done. And then like the thing for me that changed was when I started doing that, was I got to this point where I was like, okay, I can feel good about, like, I did what I was supposed to do for the day, like, and I can't do anymore, and I'm done, rather than cutting it off at a time, because like the cutting it off at a time still gives you the ability to slack off during the day and then to punch out at 5 o'clock and feel like shit and feel like you didn't really do a good job. And then also, like, it's not a good indicator of, of the work, and there's no incentive based on it, right? Like,
okay, so yeah, that's fair. What I meant by cutting it off was like having specific things you need to accomplish today, and giving yourself only that much time to do it. So then, no matter what, you cut it off by 5, and these were the tasks you had to get done today, or 3 goals you had for the day. So, yeah, Pomodoro is good. It's really good. I use it as well, and so is Parkinson's, right? So it's like both of them together. Because I agree that you can't control the results you will get. You can only control the effort you'll put in. At the same time, there's this thing that when you have limited time, you find a way to get the results that you may not have gotten otherwise.
Right. And I try to combine them with the Pomodoro technique. So like when I was putting blog posts on my, every week, I would give myself 3 Pomodoro for the blog post. Right. And it's not like that I can't ever go over it, but essentially I'm time boxing it at the same time, because it's like, this is what's scheduled for it. This is how long it should take. And, by the time, 1.5 Pomodoro ticks away or 2, I know that I've got to finish this up and wrap this up in order to get it in there. So, but I think that is the biggest benefit is being able to like know when you're done and to be able to say, okay, I did the work that I did a good job. I did.
So is 10 the max you're saying? Because I've experimented with trying to do 12 or even 14 in a day.
I find, and I don't know, maybe your results may vary, but there's a lot of research to back this up as well, though. If you're truly doing Pomodoros where you're focusing with no interruptions for 25-minute blocks, what I find is that there were weeks where I would do 12 to 14 a day. Like I was tracking it by how much I was hitting per week. And then what would happen is when I was looking at the charts, the next week would suffer. Right. It was like it would always balance out, and I would just pay for it the next week because.
And I found the same thing. Only for me, it was day to day. Like if I did 14 one day, then I would do 6 the next.
Yeah.
And I'd feel really awful.
So what's your sweet spot now?
For me, it was 8 to 10. Also,
are you doing it like 10 Pomodoros? You're done after?
Not currently doing it. I'm not doing it currently, but when I do it, like 8 to 10 is in there is my limit.
How are you boxing your time
right now? I'm not really. I mean, I've got my emails. Like lately, I've had very very defined set of tasks with this course, and it's just been kind of running, trying to keep up with that. And everything was naturally time boxed because it was all due the next day.
But do you work after a certain time of the day?
Oh, I pretty much do like a 8 to 5 schedule. Okay. Actually 8 to 4 because I start my workout at like 4:30.
And then
start the drinking at 3.
Yeah.
The party.
The Jim Beam comes out at 2:30 and then we switch to the hard stuff later,
Yeah.
But
weekends, nothing, no work.
Yeah, I avoid working.
It's only party time, cocaine and hookers.
Also known as Harry Potter, and help teaching my kids how to ride their bikes. So.
Yeah, nice disguise. No.
Those are my code words anyway.
Oh boy!
Man, this is gonna go down in the annals of Entreprogrammer history as the roughest episode for Josh. The SWAT team's coming. The women's groups are coming after me.
Well, you said it, man. 4X. 4X
the angry men are coming after me.
4X the men are using internet is what you said after your conclusion was because women don't know how to use internet.
Oh my gosh. I'm just going to issue a blanket apology to the world. I'm sorry for everything.
I'm sorry for existing.
Yes, that always works so well, right? Is just apologizing.
Yes. No one will. You'll never get dogpiled if you apologize. Yeah. I just say, fuck you, I meant to do that. Hey, man, you just bumped into me. Yeah, fuck you. I go, sorry. And then they apologize, and they're like, oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah,
sorry, bitch.
Oh man, not good, not good.
All right, guys.
All right. We'll see you.
Hey, just one more question. Are you
yeah.
trying to do 8 Pomodoros like 4-hour window, or you try to like do 2 hours or 2 hours or 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour?
For John?
For either of you guys, like what's been your most productive? Because I find like a 2 hour window is the most productive, but
So, I mean, the way that the Pomodoro technique was originally created was you do two, I think you do
25,
4,
5, 25, 5, 25, 5, and then 15 minutes.
and then, there's a longer break in the middle there. For me, I kind of, I mean, usually it would fall, I think it would fall that I would end up doing 4 to 6 before lunch and then 4 after lunch. So I had the lunch break in there.
Yeah. I don't eat lunch, but I usually take like a longer break after 4. So, but I try to keep them as close together because it's better. You get the momentum, you feel better, right? And and you just like, and then your day, like there's no better feeling than getting like your 8 Pomodoro done and it's like noon.
Yeah, I really want to experiment with the idea of like being able to do it from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. How cool would that be?
Oh, to get it all done by 9 a.m.
Yeah,
that would be pretty awesome.
Like you literally are like, you're the king of the world at that point. Now you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
Fuck around, cocaine, hookers.
Yeah, it might be a little bit early for the hookers, but like wait till after lunch at least.
Depends. You might get them at a discount.
But the other thing. So yeah, now the research. So
that sparked a thought for you, John. That's not good.
The research, though, is that was it in Cal Newport's book, not Deep Work, actually, in
So they can't ignore you.
Yeah, he talked about the idea. He might have talked about it in Deep Work as well, but it's kind of funny because this is more of a deep work topic. But he quoted a couple of references where different people had basically capped the max of focus time that they could.
4 hours.
It was 4, yeah. So it's same thing like, what's his name? The Stephen
King or Pressfield?
Yes, King. Only writes 4 hours a day, right? I think Pressfield probably.
I read that there was a book about, I forget the title of it, but it was like this guy went through and looked at 100 creative people and like analyzed their work habits, and it was probably 2/3 of them were right around that 4-hour mark, and it was like writers, painters, it was like all different walks. So I'm pretty sold on that. And it might be 4, 5, 6. It might be a range for people, but I think it's probably in that ballpark, 3 to 6 hours.
Let me ask you another question on the same line now, since we're on it. 4 hours of focus time, but then do you also like set time for stuff that doesn't really need that hardcore focus? So then you have another 2 or 3 hours for like loose work?
I typically don't count email, like entering email into the Pomodoro. Like I'll typically like at one point just go through all my email, but I mean sometimes I'll schedule a Pomodoro for it, but typically stuff like that I don't count. Right? It's like one rule that I was doing for Pomodoro was in order for it to count, it has to have an output, right? A relevant output, so it has to be like a productive. So meetings didn't count, right? So and if I did research could count, but I had to have notes and I had to produce some document from that research. So that keeps me honest. Otherwise, what ends up happening is you're like, oh, I need to like whatever, and you put a Pomodoro for this thing, and then you're like, I have a dentist appointment, and that's a Pomodoro, and you're like, it's not, it's just, it's focused work on something that you put an output.
I'm going drinking tonight, and that's a Pomodoro. Oh, there's 4 Pomodoro. Oh, 8 Pomodoros.
Yeah.
One thing I found is that I don't like the Pomodoro technique as much for projects where when you have one large objective, for me, that's when it works the best. I need to write a sales page. and it's 10,000 words. And I know, that for me is perfect for Pomodoro. What's not so great for Pomodoro is software development, honestly. Like, because what are you doing? You're like, okay, try this. Okay, darn, that didn't work. Now you're off to Google and you're following all these rabbit trails. And I mean, the idea with Pomodoro is that you are like in the zone and you're really focused. And when you're like, for me, web software development was like, there was so much research built into the whole thing that you couldn't really it was really hard to get into any kind of groove. So it was like less effective. I mean, you could like with hardcore Pomodoro, like you don't change apps, like you don't switch context, you just write, but when the nature of your work requires, like, same thing if you're like a manager or something, like, and your job is like moving all these pieces around all the time, it doesn't work as well for that in my experience.
Yeah.
You don't get the same feeling of focus and completion that you do.
Yeah. There's ways to make it work, like to break it down, to the individual things, the research. Like, I don't follow the whole like overlearn part of it where you like stay on the same task, because I feel like it's a waste of time. I just switch to the new task after I'm done with the first one. And sometimes I skip the 5-minute breaks if I'm in the flow zone.
Yeah.
So like, you got to like be smart about it. But a lot of times I can break down shit that you wouldn't think you could break down just by coming up with like very small subtasks and then, and then going through those tasks. And, and sometimes it actually is helpful too. Like even with research stuff, like a lot of times I will, what normally would be inefficient would be me trying to solve a task and doing the research at the same time. I mean, obviously there's some times where this doesn't work, but a lot of times what I've done now is I make the research first and then I make the doing. And so it ends up actually being more efficient because I'm not context switching and I'm getting all of the research I need.
Like, that works really well with writing.
Yeah.
Especially like you don't like, I try not to do research when I'm writing. I'll try to leave placeholders and stuff. But like for the software or for this thing I was working on this week with that extension for WordPress, I mean, like every tiny little step that I had to do was a new research project. There was really no way to, because if I was an experienced WooCommerce WordPress developer and I'd done 80% of it before, I could block the whole thing out and then fill in the pieces, but I'm not at that point. So
you just kind of have to make Pomodoros that are like fix issue, like debug issue.
Yeah.
And you've got like, 2 or 3 of them scheduled. And then
I mean, even if you have to do research inside of the Pomodoro, as long as you have a precise goal that you're shooting for, it shouldn't matter because research might be required in that moment to get that shit done. Like yesterday, my website, or day before, no, yesterday my website went down again because of some stupid fucking shit. So then I had to research how to turn off plugins from cPanel and do all that stuff. So I gave myself one Pomodoro to
what I'm saying is it's still helpful, but the whole idea of Pomodoro is maintaining your focus. And when you're in that type of situation, your focus is broken up by the fact of what you're doing. So I don't get the same sense of focus and the same intensity out of it that I do when I have one big task, like write a book, write a sales page, like that stuff works a lot better for it.
So let me ask you this. If you're working 8 to 4, but you're only doing 8 Pomodoros, what the hell are you doing in the remaining time?
I'm not doing Pomodoro right now.
Okay, let me ask John.
I did it when I was doing, I did the Pomodoros when I was doing the sales page for the product launch, and that was perfect. I needed that. But I mean, like, doing, working on the membership site and answering questions on there, and I don't do Pomodoros for that kind of stuff.
I'd say, I'm trying to think, a lot of times it's the pieces of stuff that I'm filling in. I typically don't consider recording videos as Pomodoros either. So that that, because I don't really need to focus. It's like easy to record a video, right? Like so yeah. So and then some of the other time is just like procrastination, honestly, like is sweet. But as long as I'm hitting the goal, then you see what I'm saying? It's like it's up to me if I want to waste more of my day. But I'm guaranteed to not procrastinate the whole day if I'm hitting the Pomodoros I need. But
I want to really experiment with like the idea of finishing off my day by like 12 p.m. every day for a couple of weeks to see what I can get done.
Yeah.
Like not letting myself work after 12 p.m. So then I force myself to maybe have 10 Pomodoros in the morning and done.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I would say that your goal should not be to stop working at 12. I mean, that should be your ultimate, but you should basically say, I need to get the 10 Pomodoro done, and then like your reward.
It's easy to, if you don't allow yourself that limit, it's easy to let those Pomodoros go on to like 7 p.m.
Yeah, it is, but then you lose the day. Like if you want to be done by 12, then this is what you got to do, is start busting ass.
Yeah.
It's funny though, because whenever I tell people about the Pomodoro technique, they're like, wait a minute, so you do like 8? So isn't that like 4 hours of work or less than 4 hours of work?
No.
So like, what do you do with the rest of the time? Well, the answer is like, okay, fine. You do 16. See how that goes. Like it's not going to happen. Like,
not a good answer.
I don't know anyone who's ever gotten 20 done. Like, I mean, seriously, actually gotten 20 done. Like people put 20.
The most I've done is 16.
Yeah. But
and that I was fried.
Yeah, and it takes you a lot more than to do 16. It takes you a lot more than 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does.
It does.
Especially if you're strict about you're supposed to reset the timer if you get interrupted or you let yourself get interrupted.
Yeah,
you interrupt yourself.
But I'd say, Manny, it'd be an interesting experiment to start working at 5 or maybe even 6 a.m. every morning, and then just be like, look, 6 to 10 o'clock.
6 to 10, 6 to 12, done.
Yeah, I'm going to just focus on this, or maybe 6 to 11, but I'm going to get all 8 of them done, bam, and then be done by 11 o'clock every single day. And then you've got a little bit of a spillover if it needs to make it to 12. But when I was really on the ball, though, I was pretty much finishing up by noon every day, right?
Yeah. So there's a book, The 12 p.m. Day.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
There's a book called The 5-Hour Workday by that surfboard company. In fact, they opened up a thing right across the street from me. But you know what? I'm gonna call bullshit on the 5-hour work week, because
5-hour workday.
5-hour workday, because you know how long it took them to open that fucking store. I'm watching them. They've got the thing in the window. It took them like months. I'm like, oh, come on.
Well, they're working 5-hour days.
Apparently. But there's certain things, again, it's the focused work that you can only do for around 4 hours, right? And if you do the Pomodoro technique and you focus, right? And then that's the other thing, is like that you can fill in some busy work and some stupid work that you could do an unlimited supply of stupid work, but
okay, I'm gonna experiment with this pretty hardcore in the next week.
And capping it also forces you to work on what you need to work on, what's priority, right? Because when you don't get the shit done, you're like, the only thing you can turn, like if you plan out, if you're like, I'm doing 8 Pomodoro a day, and you do 8 Pomodoro a day and you don't get the shit done that you're supposed to get done for the week, then the only lever is priority. That's the only lever to move. Like you didn't work on the right things in the right order. That
priority,
there's no but there's no, basically there's not the question of, did you work hard enough? Did you, right? You've got that nailed already. Work long enough. So
12 p.m. day.
12 p.m. day. All right. We should do a challenge, actually. It'd be kind of interesting to do an Entre-Programmer kind of commitment challenge where we maybe once we get Chuck back into it, maybe in a week or two, where we have a week and every day you track, somehow we can track our Pomodoros or some.
Oh, you can on Kanban. On Kanban Flow, you can basically create an avatar and everyone can basically know where they are.
Oh, you can see everyone's?
Yeah, so, anyone who makes it public, you can see their profile name.
We should do that, and then like when we're done, whoever's done, they send their email first to say that they're done, and we could even put something on the line for it, like either a prize at the end or something per day or something like that, and then try to have the goal of like every single one of us, like our goal is to finish before 12. That's our like commitment, is to get our 8 done before 12.
And you can get up whatever time you want. You
Yeah.
want to get up at 4, go ahead. You want to get up at 6, go ahead. Just get it done by 12.
I like it.
And then you have to send pictures or videos of you with cocaine and hookers, because that's the only way we know you did it.
Apparently I've got a back catalog of those. So
you won't have any problems trying to find out.
Yeah, I'll just 8 a.m. I'll just grab something out of my archive.
Boom. One of the videos from the vintage Josh.
Oh my gosh.
All right, guys.
All right. Yeah.
I'll see you later.
Yeah. Bye.